Hi, welcome to Talkin Business. I'm Joe Catrambone, CEO of the Stuart Martin County Chamber of Commerce, and I'm pleased today to have one of our members with us, Matt Black, with Benjamin Franklin Plumbing and Dry Medic of Port St. Lucie. I'm going to read a little bio on Matt, and then we'll get into a conversation to learn more about Matt's business and what he does and where he came from and things of that nature. So Matt's journey in the plumbing industry began in 2000 with no prior experience. Starting in warehouse, he swept floors, cleaned toilets, stocked parts. A few months later, he was promoted to service manager. In 2005, the company where he worked transitioned into Benjamin Franklin Plumbing. His continued success led to a further promotion in 2007 to general manager, where he has skillfully managed day-to-day operations. In November 2019, Matt and Mary Beth took a bold step and purchased the company. They relocated it to its current location in LTC Parkway, marking a new era for Benjamin Franklin Plumbing of Port St. Lucie. Under their leadership, the company has flourished, expanding its fleet from 6 trucks to 9, along with 2 service vehicles. Expanding their entrepreneurial ventures, Matt and Mary Beth acquired Dry Medic of Port St. Lucie in June of 2023. Amidst a competitive market of restoration companies, they aim to deliver the same high-quality service that had been synonymous with Benjamin Franklin Plumbing. Their commitment to customer satisfaction is evident with over 1,800 Google reviews in August of 24 and a stellar rating of 4.9 stars. Congratulations. That's
Thank you,
great.
sir. Appreciate it.
So, what brought you to, where are you from? Are you originally from St. Lucie
No,
County,
originally from Indiana,
Indiana?
but my father had moved here, so when I graduated high school, I moved down here
So,
and moved to the Stewart area for a little while, and then now I'm in Port St. Lucie.
and
That was in 1988.
in 88. Did I mean that's quite an accomplishment. You had no prior experience in plumbing whatsoever.
No,
What drove you there? Was it just to get a job? Or?
well, I worked for a builder for about 5.5 years, and I did purchasing, scheduling, and estimating, but it was a local small builder, and there was really no opportunity for me to grow with that company. It was family owned and operated, so just about every person that worked in that company was a family member other than me and the lady that answered the phone. So I just knew there wasn't really any growth for me to go. And during that time working for the builder, this plumbing company, we did the plumbing for the builder. So I had a relationship with them for over 5 years of having them do the plumbing for the builder. So when the position became available for their warehouse position, and even though I had to take a step backwards from where I worked for the builder, I just knew there was more opportunity there for me in the future. So I just went and started working in the warehouse, and I started putting together these procedures. And at that time, there was a lot of tract homes going on. So you had Port St. Lucie Properties and Miranda and all these big builders in here that were just spitting out all the houses, cookie cutters. So I went in and created cheat sheets for every one of these houses. I would go in and pull the parts and stage them, wrap them up, and put in my check sheet. It became to where nobody there wanted a job pulled unless it was pulled by me. They all want, because they knew they were going to get it down to the very last fitting of what they wanted. So the owner come to me about 4 months in and said, "Hey, I need you to be my service manager." And I'm like, I'm trying to learn what the name of the parts are, and you want me to run your service department? And he's like, "Well, I don't need you for the technical side. I need you for the systems. You put so many systems in place in my service department since you've been here. I mean, in my warehouse, I need that on the service side." So he had went through 7 service managers in 7 years. I became a service manager for the next 7 years. During that time, he purchased the Ben Franklin franchise, so I started running that. And then in 2007, I became the general manager. And then in 2019, he actually had the company sold, and the deal fell through at the 12th hour. And so he came to me and said, "Hey, do you want to buy the company?" So I went home and talked to the wife, and I'm like, I'm 50 years old. Do I really want to do this? And she's like, "Yeah, we need to do it. And I was more concerned about who may come in and buy it and change all of the stuff that we had built. and the reputation we had built up to that point, more so than just saying, hey, I wanted to be an owner. So I flew to Nashville, did a 1 week prep course for a master plumber's license, come home, studied 3 weeks, and took the business finance class, passed that. Then took the master plumber class the next week, passed that. And from what I was told, only 48% of the people passed the master plumber's test on their first try in Florida. And I was able to do that. The SBA was gracious and gave me a small business loan. And the rest is history. We've literally over doubled in size in the first 4 years.
That is the American dream.
Yep.
It really is. That's great. Congratulations. That's impressive. It really is. So, going back when you first began, it was like you said, they were spitting out homes all over the place, 200 here, 500 here. That's kind of slowed down now. So, what percentage of your business do you see as new home? And you do obviously repairs, right?
We don't do any new construction.
Oh,
So when I bought the company from the previous owner, he kept the new construction that he
Oh,
ran, and I
okay.
only bought the franchise, the Ben
Okay.
Franklin franchise. And so we do 95% residential service, and we will do some light commercial repairs as well. So like we came in here and fixed the toilet the other day for Wayne. So we do, small commercial stuff. We don't get into the big industrial stuff.
So, but if someone were remodeling a home, you
We would do
it.
that,
But
yep.
but starting from ground level, you don't.
Right.
You
If somebody did a room addition, we would go in and do that. But our warehouse isn't large enough to be able to hold the equipment that's needed for new construction, all the fixtures that's needed for new construction to spit out these homes. So the previous owner now has like a 20,000 square foot building that he operates for his new construction company. We've got 4,500 square feet where we're at right now, so we just don't have the capacity. And the Ben Franklin model is set up for residential service, not new construction. It's all about taking care of the customer and the customer service and customer satisfaction.
So we live in a world today of change. Every day there's something new, and God only knows what the future brings. So, what have you seen in your time in this industry? What changes have you seen, and what do you expect? Do you expect any kind of? I mean, I know. For instance, about years ago they used lead pipes that went to PVC. I'm sure that's all they use today is PVC, right?
Yeah, for the drain lines, it's
Yeah.
pretty much PVC. Drain and vent waste is PVC. But you see a lot of the new construction homes now transitioning away from copper, and they're going to a pipe called PEX piping, Upen or PEX. So years ago, they tried to use a pipe that was called polybutylene, and there was a class action lawsuit, and that pipe is no good. And if you buy a home with it, you can't get insurance. That house has to be repiped. You can't
And
have
it was a
polybutylene.
PVC
It's a plastic pipe, but it was called polybutylene, and that was for the pressure water lines. And there was so many issues with that. So now they've come out with a pipe that's called PEX, and there's different types. There's PEX A and PEX B. So one of them you crimp down the fittings. The other one expands, so it's got a memory. The pipe has a memory, so you literally put a tool inside the pipe and you spread it open. You put the fitting in, and then the pipe shuts. And now it always wants to try to clamp
that
down
copper?
on that pipe. No, that's
It's
plastic.
plastic.
It's a plastic
Really?
plastic pipe. So most new construction homes now are still being done with PEX and not being done with copper any longer. The copper, you have an issue with the water quality that will eat through the copper, where the PEX is supposed to last longer. So we will see, if it does or not. The biggest thing I've seen in the difference from starting way back in 2000 to now, what we're almost in 2024, almost 2025, in 25 years, has truly just been the technology, the softwares, those types of things. I mean, back when I first started, you had pagers and you had radios in trucks that when you keyed up the radio, the horn would blow in the truck. So the person out at that new construction job knew that they needed to go answer the radio and radio back into the office. To then it went to the Nextel radios, and then now it's all cell phones, and it's just the software. We recently invested in a piece of equipment that's called the LR3 light ray technology. So if you had a broken sewer line underneath your concrete slab, we can come in and do a repair, within a day and not have to dig up the floor or do anything.
You can detect where the leak is.
So we would go in. Let's say that that you had cast iron pipe under your house. So you had a house in Fort Pierce and it had the old cast iron pipe and it's 50 years old. We would go out there with a piece of equipment called the Picote, and it has chains on the head, and we would go through and chain and rejuvenate that cast iron pipe and get all the scale off of it, as long as the pipe still has some, rigidity to it. It still is in a good a good base to it. If it's already deteriorated and gone to nothing, then there's nothing that we can do. It's going to have to be dug up and replaced. But if there's still a good exterior to that pipe, we pull all the scale off of it. Then we take a hydro jetter, which is like a power washer, and we go in and wash the inside of the pipes and pull all the scale away. Now we come in with a Packard, and let's say that you had a section of pipe that was broken or deteriorated, and let's say it was a 2-foot section. We can come in and repair a 5-foot section, so we get a foot and a half on each side of that repair. We come in with a Packard, we put the pipe in, it's hooked up to an air compressor, it blows up this resin that's already pre-soaked. Then we turn on the LR3, which is for UV, and it cooks the pipe on, and it's the strongest PVC pipe. So where before you may have to chip up your floor, take up your tile, your hardwood floor, break down, pull a permit, have the pest control come in and spray for termites before you backfill it, before you re-pour the concrete, put the floor back in. So some could be displaced for 2 or 3 weeks between the permitting process, the whole job process of getting a contractor involved. Now we come in one day and we rejuvenate the pipe and clean it. The very next day we come in 3 or 4 hours, we've now fixed that pipe. So what could have been anywhere from a $20,000 to $30,000 repair could be anywhere between $7,000 and $10,000, and you don't ever have to leave your house.
Wow.
So it's a huge, but it's a big investment. We have an actual trailer that's designed and set up that carries all this equipment, and we can go out. We have to set up a UV tent because if this material gets in the sun, it will harden immediately, and then you can't use the material. So everything has to be UV rated and protected. So we can either go through toilets or clean outs or whatever to be able to get into the home or the commercial business.
It's amazing how technology has entered into every field.
Absolutely.
Everything. It's amazing. Do they still use cast iron?
Rarely.
Yeah.
Some jobs that may be in like hospitals or something where they want, you'll see some iron, some cast iron in some of those, some of the hotels, things like that. But residential home, you're not going to see it at all.
Yeah, I mean, what would be then the life expectancy of a cast iron, and what's the life expectancy of the PVC material?
Cast iron has a life expectancy of 50 years, but we see some houses that are 100 years old that still has the pipe in it. I mean, you think if it's 4 inches and then it basically cast iron disintegrates from the inside out. So that's how all the scale and everything. So all of a sudden we could go out to a house that's not draining good, and they can maybe only have a 1-inch
was a
hole,
4
and it
inch
was
and it's
4 inches down to
reduced
1 or 3/4 of an inch
because of scale and all
And then
that.
now the toilet paper and the waste is getting caught on that and constantly causing the backups. That's why you got to go in there and clean it out and rejuvenate it. But you can generally, there was different cast iron made in different years. So some of the older stuff that was 100 years old was made better than stuff that was made, 70 years ago. Same thing with like cars today. I mean, think about cars years ago. Now you get plastic. You don't get metal. You just don't get the things that were built like they used to. Water heaters, we used to be able to see last 20, 25 years. The life expectancy of a water heater now is 10 to 12 years if you properly maintain it and drain and flush it every year like you're supposed to. If not, you may get 8 years out of it. And the manufacturer will give you a 6-year warranty on the water heater, but it's only going to last 8 or 10 years if you don't do the proper maintenance on it.
A lot of old Florida, I mean, I live in Martin Downs. We just were converted. We still haven't converted septic to sewer, but we converted, I had a well.
Yep.
So I imagine the quality of the water, if you had a well and you had a lot of iron in it, added to the life expectancy of your materials, right? With like a cast iron.
Right.
But that shouldn't affect PVC, right? The quality of the water.
Nope. PVC you don't have any issues with that. PVC can withstand chlorine. The only thing PVC itself is not rated for is heat. So PVC is not used for hot water. So you have CPVC, which would be rated for hot water, but that becomes very brittle. And over a period of time, they found out that that's not a good, pipe. There's a lot of houses that have CPVC, and we just do repairs, but we would never repipe a house with CPVC. We feel that the PEX piping is the best way to go for repipes. Again, people aren't going to run copper overhead and try to do that overhead of a house. So if we go in, we have electronic leak detection equipment. We have line locators, so we can come in and put a locate where the line's at. Say there's a manifold in the wall over there, and then we could say, okay, we're going to reroute the line from this overhead and drop it down over here. Now everything is out of the soil, everything is overhead, and you try to do it in one run where you only have 2 connections. versus if you go in and chip it up the floor and go make the repair because you have a leak under the floor. We give a 2-year warranty, so we're going to go in and give you a 2-year warranty on a 2 or 3 inch repair, but that pipe's already compromised. So it's happened to us, and we would get a call 6 or 8 months later saying our repair leaked, and we would come out, we would listen with the equipment and say, no, our repair is not leaking, it's leaking over here. Homeowner wouldn't believe us, wanted us to chip up our repair and prove it. We'd chip up our repair and show them that it's not leaking, that it's leaking 8 inches over. And it was like, we gave the options, a year ago to do a reroute and not go through the floor and do a repair, but the homeowner wanted to do the repair. But as soon as that pipe's compromised, there's no reason to do a repair underneath a slab, because you're going to pour the concrete back, you're going to put the floor back,
Yeah,
and
you
you're
do
putting
it
it back
all over
over
again.
Exactly. And we do it. There's a house that we were at the other day that we recommended a repipe, and every time you turn water off of a house, you take the pressure off of it, and then you put it back on. Pipes that are weak can start to leak.
Yeah, it puts a stress on them.
Six leaks on this house. 6 leaks that occurred during this in all different areas, and they didn't want to do the repipe. And it was like, it made no sense. You're going to do a repipe, and again, this was a large house. It could have been a $20,000 repipe, but they paid $12,000 to have these repaired made instead of $20,000 to have the whole house repiped. So, but
It ends up costing them double.
Exactly. Now think what happens next week when another leak happens on
Yeah.
another pipe.
Yeah. And it's my hot water heater is in the garage, and it's all copper
Yep.
in there. And a lot of times there's a shelf above there, and I've got to get on a ladder, and I'll grab a hold of that pipe, and it's
Warm.
hot. Yeah, I have my hot water heater on a timer. So it comes on, I think, at 5 o'clock in the morning and shuts off, and then goes on again at 8 o'clock at night and shuts off at 10 or so. It's not running constantly, but I always have hot water, though.
Yep.
Yeah. Instead of letting that run all day long,
That's what.
which runs up your electric bill, and it also does wear and tear on your hot water heater, right? A lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah.
I had a
So
plumber tell me that, by the way.
So-
I said, why put a timer on it? He said, what do you need hot water 24/7 for?
well, I mean, think about it. People will have that water heater heating all day long because they may use it today. But who leaves their oven on all day long because they may bake today?
That's true.
Nobody.
That's a good analogy.
So
That's good. So the big thing, I mean, it's in Martin County especially, is septic to sewer. Are you doing a lot of those conversions, or do you do those conversions?
we do them, but there's not a whole lot of them that we do. Most of the time, if a septic now fails, they won't allow you to do a repair generally, unless if it's after the distribution box or further in like Port St. Lucie, Martin County, they're mandating you hook up to city sewer if it's available in your area.
I wish I
They won't
had
even
it
let
in
you.
Martin Downs. We don't have
Yeah.
it yet. So I just had my, my wife used to take care of all this stuff. So I noticed a few months ago, the toilets were, you flush them and
It wouldn't go nowhere.
even without solids.
Yep.
So the lady that cleans my house said to me, have you had your septic tank checked lately? I said, no. She said, well, I think you got a problem. And I had septic people come out, and it was slap full.
Yep.
Slap full. He pumped it out, and everything flushes great now. So it's
It all depends on your drain field. So there's different septics out there, but you can have a septic tank, and some of them have filters in them. So you got to clean the filter, because even though your septic tank is not full, if it can't get out to the drain field to to be able
backs
to,
up.
and then
Yeah.
it'll back up.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure if you got a filter to clean that, and then also there's product that you can put in your septic tank.
I do that. I
And-
put it in the toilet.
Yeah,
right?
you can put it in the toilet, and so you do that, and they have like Rid-X, or they
That's
have.
what I use. Rid-X.
So see, Rid-X is almost all sawdust, very little material to it. It's just not a great product. There's other products out there that are in a liquid form that are going to give
Well,
you
that's what
100%.
mine was
Yours
liquid.
liquid, okay?
Yeah.
Because some of the old Rid-X's were in powdered form.
Yeah, but
So you have to
what's
look
the
at it and see.
best one?
We have it called BioBin for us, which is through Benjamin Franklin Plumbing, called BioBin. And then there's another one out there. It's called Bio1. And that's in liquid. So if we do that, we would come into your home and we'd have you put it down every single drain, and you do it for 1 week, every drain at night before you go to bed. And then just once a month, you go back and put it down a drain, and that'll get out into your septic. And so, but if you do that and put it down your drains every night, all the waste that is built up, this is a living enzyme. It's active bacteria. So as it eats the waste off of the pipe, it multiplies. But then you use bleach or you use antibacterial soap, then you put it down the drain. Now it's killing the bacteria that you just put in there. So that's why you have to do it on a continuous basis, because when you're putting bleach into a washing machine and then putting that out into your drain field, you're killing the good bacteria that's in the drain field. Or if you're using antibacterial soap in the kitchen or the bathroom, and then you're killing the good bacteria that's in your sewer pipe that's going to eat the waste away. So that's why you have to continuously inject that
Well,
into
I
your
never
sewer system.
realized that you
Yep.
had a procedure to follow. I just, like I said, my wife did everything, so.
Yep.
So tell me, what's dynamic of porcelain, that dry medic?
Dry-medic?
Yeah, tell me about it.
So Drymedic is a water restoration company, and we do fire, mold, odor. So if somebody had a flood and the carpets were flooded or whatever, they would call us and we would come in and extract the water, depending on where the water came from. Let's say you had that septic and it backed up, and then it backed up and broke the seal in your toilet and then flooded your bathroom area. Well, that's considered a Cat 3 type of loss, and so you have to come in and remove drywall because of the bacteria and the items that are in that water. Same thing if it leaked from the second story down to the first, it's going through insulation, going through anything, so it's different than just clean water that got dumped on your floor. So if it's clean water, we can come in and extract it. We can even pull up the carpet, remove the pad, and then somebody could put pad back down and put your carpet back down and save your carpets. But if it gets into higher cat levels, then sometimes the carpet has to be removed and disposed of. So that we've done mold jobs where we went in and a whole house was completely full of mold, and we had to pretty much take everything out of it. A gentleman was incarcerated for 2 years, and he came home and opened up his house, and the whole thing was full of mold. He had a roof leak. And so then we had to go in there. Then you get the ones with where they had a fire in the house and maybe had a kitchen fire and smoke went through the whole house. So you're in there cleaning all of that. And we're actually going at the end of this month, we're testing for biohazard and trauma, to where we will actually go into scenes where somebody's passed away or something's happened with a murder or whatever, and we got to go in and clean the scenes. So we're in the process right now of getting our license for that, or our certifications for that.
So you have two separate crews, obviously.
Two totally separate companies. We are a national franchise. Our,
Benjamin Franklin.
Yep, Benjamin Franklin is, and Drymedic is as well. So Benjamin Franklin is under Clockwork Home Services. That's our parent company. And under that, you have Benjamin Franklin Plumbing. You have 1 Hour Air Conditioning. You have Mr. Sparky Electric. You have Drymedic Restoration Services. And then there's also a company called Screen Mobile, and they do screen repairs. So those are the 5 brands that are under Clockwork for the trades. And then there's another 12 or 13 other franchises under the big parent company, Authority Brands.
How many
that we do.
employees you got?
On the Ben Franklin side, we have 19 full-time and 3 part-time. And on the Drymedic side, we have 5.
So are they plumbers? Your Benjamin Franklin, those 19 are all plumbers?
No, we got 9 plumbers out in the field. We have 4 apprentices that we're training to become plumbers.
That's a good thing.
And then we have a permit coordinator, we have a call taker, we have a dispatcher, we have a warehouse supervisor, we have a payroll coordinator, and then we have my wife that does all of the bank reconciliation, credit card reconciliation, franchise reporting, and then I have myself, and I'm actually in the process right now trying to hire a service manager to come in and kind of take my seat so I can move over and work on Drymedic a little bit more and get that company to grow.
Oh, great.
But what happened with Drymedic is there was several years ago that there was a flood in a house, and we recommended a restoration company to come in and do the work. And they came in and they pitched us to them and said how great they were, this and that. And we did a few jobs and didn't have any issues. And at the time, I was the manager. I was not the owner of Ben Franklin. I had an owner come in and sit and ask if he could sit down with me and have a talk. And I said, yeah. And he come in with a stack of papers this thick. And he had all areas highlighted. And he said, the company that you referred us to, they charged our insurance company to remove wallpaper. Here's the pictures. The wallpaper was never removed. They hired us to, or you paid them, we paid them to remove ventilated shelving out of the closet. So he showed me that ventilated shelving was never removed. So he went down line item by line item and showed me $8,000 worth of work that his insurance company got billed for by this restoration company that they never did the work for. So I called this company up and I'm like, you're making me look bad because now you just took advantage of this homeowner, and they refunded him his $8,000, but I couldn't use that company any longer.
Oh.
So now I'm gun shy to ever refer anybody out if I haven't personally used them and know that I have an experience. I have a hard time referring companies out to other people. So when our franchise opened up a restoration company, I'm like, why not go ahead and start up another company that we know we're referring the same people out that that we're employing, that know that they're going to get that level of service. And our motto in Ben Franklin is always do what's in your client's best interest. So
That's a great motto for anybody.
that's what we do.
That's
And
how you stay in business.
we don't advertise to be the cheapest company in town. We don't advertise to be the Walmart of the plumbing industry. In order for us to be able to have the guys that we have, and we provide a lot of benefits to our guys, or I should say our employees. So when you're hired on with us, you automatically get short-term and long-term disability, 100% company paid. We provide you with a $2,000 gap insurance policy for your medical insurance. We give you we pay for a $100,000 life insurance policy.
Wow.
After you're there 90 days, you get 6 paid holidays. After 1 year, you get 1 week's vacation. After 2 years, 2 weeks vacation. After 5 years, 3 weeks vacation. And we pay a percentage towards your medical insurance. And every year or two you're with us, it ramps all the way up. So a new employee that works out in the field that is hired with us in the very first year, he's going to get about $5,700 in benefits his first year, which is about $2.80 an hour. And every year he's with us, it ramps up. Once you're 100% vested with us in year 11, you're now getting $18,000 and change, $18,500 in benefits, and that's about $8.60 an hour. So you're guaranteed a raise in benefits every year you're with our company. And then we also have a 2% 401k match as well.
Wow.
So most service
That's
companies,
unusual today.
most service companies don't offer that. We do
Most
that.
companies,
Yeah.
never mind service companies, most people anymore they don't offer.
An average homeowner doesn't understand the cost of doing business, and they
They
think, "Oh, you
certainly
charge
don't.
me this, and
Yeah.
you're charging me $500 an hour, and you're ripping me off."
Yeah.
And they don't understand what it costs just to get Google and pay-per-click and LSA and all these other things. How much it costs. We did a little thing last year, and all we took was the cost of the truck payments, truck insurance, and fuel, truck repairs, all of that stuff, and put it into one, and took our total and divided it by how many calls, and it was costing us $85 just to get our truck to somebody's house every time we went. And so
People don't get that. They have
But
no clue.
we charge a $79 or a $99 service call, and it costs us
And that doesn't even
$85.
cover-
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't even cover.
People don't understand that.
But then we haven't even, how did they hear about us? Did they click the Google ad that charges $125 to get that lead? Or did they, we haven't paid the technician to drive out there yet, and they're like, well, you don't charge a service call. This company, or this company doesn't charge me. Yes, they do. They hide it in their price that they're quoting you, because nobody drives for free. The technicians ain't going out there for free, so they're building it into the price that we're quoting. We want to be honest and upfront, be fully transparent. There's a fee for our truck to get out there, and this is just to help offset some of our costs.
That's really interesting. The general public has no idea what it costs to run a business. They have
Yep.
no idea. Great interview. I
Yeah,
really
enjoyed it.
appreciate it. Learned a lot. Thank you very much. I
Appreciate
enjoyed
it.
it.
Thanks for inviting me in.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks.